Quick question.
Hmm.
Do you like H.P. Lovecraft?
Uh,
Do you like
Maybe.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and all
Hmm.
things Douglas Adams?
Well, maybe not that last book.
Do you like Bill and Ted? No, wait, not that one. Do you like Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle? If you answered yes to two or more of these questions, you're going to love the book we're going to talk about today. It's called John Dies at the End by David Wong.
I'm Paul,
I'm Steve.
and this is Check Your Shelf.
Yes, it is. Before we get into the cosmic comic horror that is John Dies at the End, big announcement. We are beyond excited. The Elusive Exclusive Book Society has invited us to be on their live stream. Wednesday, October 22nd at noon Eastern. Google will help you convert the times if you need to convert the times. And YouTube, if you set up a notification, automatically does it for you for your local time zone. But we couldn't be more excited. We're going to be talking about The Dreams in the Witch House by H.P. Lovecraft and whatever else they talk about on that show. We will do our best not to derail it.
I mean, we promise nothing. Yeah, and so if you want to check it out, I posted the link down below. You can follow it and get your notification so you don't forget to watch it.
Yeah, man. And it's going to be great. If you're at work, take a break. The boss makes $1, you make a dime. That's why you watch Eebs on company time.
If you can't take a break, quit.
I love it. One of us. Solidarity. Power to the people. All right, John Dies at the End by, I said David Wong, that's a what do you call it? Pseudonym? No, not pseudonym.
Pen
Synonym,
name, alias,
pen name.
nom de guerre.
Nom de guerre. He stopped using that years ago. His name is Jason Pargin. You may know him as a Substack creator, or you may know him as a TikTok star.
That's where I know him from.
Okay. He started out as the editor at he started out writing for Cracked Magazine, which, as you all know, if you don't know, I'm about to tell you, Cracked was my jam back in the day, back when we used to print magazines.
That's right. All the other chumps were reading Mad. You were reading Cracked.
That's right. I always go for the underdog. And I stopped reading it, life happened, and then it went all digital. And then apparently Jason Pargin, writing under the name David Wong, wrote for Cracked and then eventually became like their managing editor. And during this time, he wrote a serial called John Dies at the End. And he, I don't know how often you publish serials, probably once a month or something. And so many people were following it. Somebody, they were getting so many clicks on this weird little series of stories that somebody, and loosely connected, but very connected. Like there was an overall arc, but then since it's a serial, you had to sort of like Weird Tales. Like you had to have a climax and a sort of a resolution and a cliffhanger every episode, right?
Yeah.
So somebody approached him and was like, "Hey, how would you like to make this a novel?" And his first answer was, "What are you, nuts?" And his second answer, after they told him how much it would be, was, "When do I start?"
That's right.
So they gave him an advance, and he, stitched the thing together into a novel called John Dies at the End. Why David Wong? Well, we'll get that toward the end of this. I want to get into the book.
Well, by the way, though, one of the best ways to keep your reader reading is to end your chapter on a cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah. For sure. And when you're writing a serial, I mean, that's kind of what you have to do. So it kind of forces you into that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The way I found the book is kind of a funny story in and of itself. I was looking for something to read, and my friend Anna from Chicago had just finished Help, A Bear is Eating Me, which is awesome. I totally recommend that. It's a quick read, very thin, fast, but I was reading it on my Kindle, and in those days when you fit it, well, maybe they still do. I don't know. But anyway, I finished it and it said, if you like this, you might also like it. I was like, I want more like that. And it recommended John Dies at the End. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
So that's how I found it.
It's like when you get to the end, like when you're watching like Pootie Tang on like Netflix or whatever, and you get to the end and it says more like this, and we're like, no, there's nothing like Pootie Tang.
There is nothing like Pootie Tang.
What a top.
So this book, all right. First of all, my goal today is not to reviews are weird, and there's been talk of should we be reviewing books, shouldn't we be reviewing books? I'm like, I don't even know. I'm talking about books. If you want to call it a review, it's a review. My mama called it a review. My daddy called it a review. I don't know whether to call it a review.
Well, that was the whole thing with us. We just talk about books anyway. So we're talking about books, and if you happen to tag along and enjoy it, then that's awesome. A double win.
Yeah.
But we don't do reviews. Reviews do us.
What I'm doing today, my entire goal, I believe our audience would love this because I was dead serious. I didn't realize this when I first read the book and then the sequels, because I've read everything he's written since. And like, I didn't realize it, but there's Lovecraft in there. There's Douglas Adams. It's not British, but like,
yeah,
if you like Douglas Adams, you would like the kind of humor that's in here. And it's a stoner buddy book.
Yeah.
It's so Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, like they're on an adventure. One of them is trying to be responsible, but he's still kind of a slacker. And the other one is a straight up stoner who just accidentally, or maybe on purpose, or maybe that's his superpower, somehow prevails, right?
Yeah.
That's John.
Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah, Dude, Where's My Car?
Evolution.
And as I started to say, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was one of the early forms of this.
Yeah.
So in other words, this is going to be spoiler free. However, when the title is John Dies at the End, you have to wonder, has it already been spoiled? Or has it? So it's got everything. It's got the meat monster that just formed out of somebody's freezer meat. And it's got Lovecraft style monsters. It's got other dimensions. It's got supernatural. It's got timeline shifts and changes. And it has the kind of twist at the end. And again, I'm not spoiling anything, but there's a twist at the end that will have you going, did John die at the end? Maybe it's up to the reader, or maybe you have to read the 2 or 3 sequels that were written. And there's a part in which you might go, well, did John die at the end or did John die somewhere in the middle? It's that kind of book. Are you intrigued? Can you now see why our audience would like a book like this? Like Lovecraft, this book also, the book really has the kind of structure that makes you go, is there a structure? What actually is going on?
Yeah.
And I think part of that comes from it having been written as a serial. So he didn't sit down with a whole arc in mind. He probably just was like, all right, 2 stoner dudes, they live in a town somewhere in the Midwest, which he consistently refers to as undisclosed. And the reason he refers to it as undisclosed is all kinds of crazy stuff happens in this town, right? There's just unexplained, like they'll find a portal. They'll go through a door and come out somewhere on the other side of town. They have a collection, their names are Dave and John. They have a collection of just weird artifacts because there have been news stories coming out of this town that weird stuff goes on here. So everybody who follows the occult, everybody who follows, aliens, supernatural stuff, they all have a theory of what's going on in this town, and they send them stuff. I may be mixing up books here. This may not occur until the second book because it might be the events that happen in this book that caused them to become somewhat famous or infamous on the internet. But anyway, so this town there's all kinds of theories, like Indian burial ground, weird space-time thing. It's like Arkham, basically.
Yeah.
And it starts out like the prologue is this like ship of Theseus sort of joke. He says, if you can solve the following riddle, you will have unlocked the mysteries of the universe. And he says, okay, scary looking dude comes in. You grab your axe and whack him in the head and kill him, right? Then you bury him in the backyard. So the next day you're chopping some wood and you break the handle on that axe that you had used to kill the guy. So you go to the hardware store, you get a new handle. They replace the handle on your axe. Like, cool. So then the next day you're chopping some wood again and you hit a rock and totally chip and bend your axe head, the head part of the. I think you probably know axes better than anybody on this program. So he goes back to the hardware store. He's like, I need a new head for my axe. So they replace the head on his axe, right? So then that night he's sleeping and he hears a commotion in the kitchen and he runs out and the dude who he had killed 3 nights before is standing there all dirty and stuff because he had buried him, right? And big slash in his head. Mm-hmm. So he grabs his axe and starts to go at him and the guy goes, that's the axe that killed me. Was he right? So once I read that, I was like, okay, I'm in. I had never heard of the ship of Theseus. Those who have heard of the ship of Theseus would be like, oh yeah, that's just derivative from that joke. And I'm like, it's not a joke. It's a thought experiment about the impermanence of things.
It's funny though when you were talking about axe heads because you're not entirely wrong, but several years ago, my little brother and I were out, cutting firewood because it's what we did back in the 90s, and so that's how long ago it was, a couple of years ago. He finds this beat down, mossed over axe head just in the woods. So he looks at it and he's cleaning it off because, it's covered in moss and dirt and grime. And it says, craftsman. So my little brother goes, I know what I'll do. So he goes to Sears and he's like, hey, yo, my axe head broke. You guys got a lifetime warranty on your tools. Okay, Mr. Schultz. So they bored out the center and put the new handle on it and out the door he went.
Nice. One of the drawbacks of that opening is it has nothing to do with the rest of the book. It's like a prologue that you're kind of hooked on, but it also it does set up this is going to be a weird book. But one of the things that confused me, and I probably didn't get it until the second or third, and in the movie I noticed, I was like, I wonder if they'll put that in the movie since it doesn't really, and they did, they put that in the movie.
Yeah. And did you ever read National Lampoon's Lord of the Rings?
No.
Well, the back cover has a excerpt from the book where like Frodo and this like dark elf witch queen are like getting ready to bump uglies. It doesn't happen in the book. They just put it on the back.
Yeah. Well, sex sells.
Hey, that's exactly why he did it.
Killing monsters with axes sells.
Yeah.
So the real plot. So then when you get into the actual plot of the book, you've got John and Dave in this weirdo town where weird stuff happens all the time, but they're like, whatever, it just happens. Get drunk, get high. Life is unfair, right? Well, they are called because they seem to have the ability to deal with some of the supernatural stuff. And one of these things leads to them taking this drug called soy sauce. They call it soy sauce. It's like the color of soy sauce. It's got the consistency of like tar. And you inject it, or it seems to kind of have a life of its own, and it might inject itself sometimes. Oh. And when you take it, you have the ability to see things that other people can't see.
Okay.
And you maybe can even go to other dimensions. Time seems to be fluid. There's one point where that's why I said maybe John died in the middle. There's one point at which John appears to have died, but then he calls Dave. And Dave is like, he was eating a hot dog and like suddenly the hot dog is a phone. And they're like talking. He's like, wait, you died. It's like, well, not really. I need you to get back here and help me. So, and the dimensional, so the dimensions start to, because they decided to take the soy sauce, you know, they had to take the soy sauce in order to defend against some of the bad stuff that was happening in this town. Sort of like Lovecraftian monsters are starting to make their way into the town and threaten people they love. So they kind of have to take the soy sauce to help defend against that. It's like a superpower. At the same time, it may be enabling the opening of these rifts in space-time to other dimensions. It plays on those sort of themes that, you know, you take this stuff and it opens up secrets of the universe, right?
Right.
In this case, they start to figure out maybe the drug has a mind of its own or a will of its own, and maybe that's what it wanted us to do, so they could open up more portals and more opportunities for cross-dimensional interaction. And at one point, they do go to another dimension where they find out, similar to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, they find out that they are worshipped in this other dimension as the enablers of some future second coming of this godlike, you know, ultra awesome monster, right? That will finally cleanse the earth of the scourge that is humanity. Somehow they escape from that.
I, for one, welcome our new overlords.
Yeah, no kidding. Cthulhu 2028. Yeah, so anyway, he makes it, they make it back somehow, but so you're like, phew, you know, so that's why there's multiple, talk about multiple climaxes and cliffhangers and stuff. But that's one of them where you go, okay, that could have been the end of the book, I suppose, but there's more. But wait, there's more. And it culminates in this monster has found a way into the current dimension. And one of the, I used to laugh at Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? But when I read comedy books, I rarely laugh out loud. And there was one scene in this book where they hid a bomb in a burrito and their dog ate it, like just swallowed it whole. And they needed that bomb. They somehow made it past all these different portals. You know, it's like a dungeon crawl at this point, but it's an old abandoned mall. And they make it through all these challenges and everything. They get to the final boss, and they brought the bomb so that they could kill the final boss, but the dog ate the burrito. So they just start screaming at the dog, shit the burrito right now. And I was reading that by myself and just started laughing out loud the way they had set it all up. And it was like at this pivotal, like suspenseful, will they or won't they? Maybe Dave also dies at the end, you know? They're just trying to get this dog to
I don't remember what book I was reading, but it was over summer because you and I were doing BookTube by then. And this line, unfortunately, I can't remember what it is, but it caught me off guard so hard that I did the dad laugh. And so I messaged you. I'm like, have you ever read a line that took you out so hard? You're like, every damn day.
Every damn day. And then, you know, so it's like the hero's journey. And then it's the ultimate hero's journey, right? Because nobody's more reluctant than a couple of stoners that just want to sit on their couch, get high, and watch movies, play video games. That at the end, then there's, like I said, there's this twist that you go, wait, what did I just watch? What just happened?
Yeah.
Was any of this real? So it's good. I, you know, like I said, I think our audience would love it. It's got the buddy thing. It's got the hero's journey. It's like, if not us, then who? It's like, well, why does it have to be anybody? And what if what we do makes it even worse? It's got that in it.
All that begs the question then, Steve. on the scale of 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, how would you rate John Dies at the End, but not the middle?
Solid 4. I mean,
Okay.
it inspired me to read more. It inspired me to try to write a short story or a novel, or I don't know what I was trying to do, but
It,
I never finished the first chapter, so who cares? It,
no, for you folks at home, it was good. It was
thank you.
good. Tell him to finish it. Tell him not to listen to the instructor that he was listening to. It's good and he needs to finish it.
Yeah, man, if you read Stephen Pressfield, War of Art, and he wrote The Legend of Bagger Vance,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and he said the way to write a book is quickly
Yes.
finish the first draft. He never talks about, oh, you got to make sure the first chapter has got all the first chapterness and make sure that first chapter is really solid before you move on, because otherwise the rest of the book will suck. So I went to a creative writing workshop, which the pre-reading was to read Pressfield's War of Art before you come to the workshop. So I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in thinking I know kind of how this is going to go. And all we did the entire time was work on our first chapters. It was like, I never got past chapter 1 because I never got him to go, okay, now I get what this book is about, right?
Yeah. I've got Pressfield's Do the Work. Isn't that one of his books?
Yeah, that was a follow-up to the War of Art.
Yeah. But or as Hemingway so succinctly said, write drunk, edit sober.
No better way to say it. Okay, this is not the War of Art, but what I can do is turn it upside down, so it looks like it's the War of Art. All right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, solid 4 because it inspired me to read the rest. There's this other series I did a shelfie on this book, I think. This one's called Zoe is Too Drunk for This Dystopia. That was not on purpose. We don't plan anything around here. I actually know. Which is part of the Zoe Ash series. The first one's called Futuristic Violence in Fancy Suits. It's also really good, but it doesn't have. It's more of a dystopian near future. It's not supernatural.
I, for one, would like to hear more of that than just the shelfie. So, if you folks at home would like to hear Steve talk a little bit more about those books, let us know in the comments.
And while you're there, lots of things help other people find us and helps us find other people. One of those is you commenting. Another is liking the video and subscribing. And, it's not just the algorithm. I tell you what, suddenly I sound like Hank Hill. I'll tell you what. I find most of this new stuff that I have found hasn't come from the algorithm. It has come from seeing the comments and other booktubers and other YouTubers. And I click on their profile, and if they have a channel, I subscribe if I vibe with their comment or whatever. So yeah, it helps the algorithm, but that's not the only way to help, right? If you have a channel, tell us about your channel. We'll be happy to. And don't forget next week.
Yeah.
Which is next week to us. I don't know if it's next week for you guys.
Time of recording.
Wednesday, October 22nd at noon Eastern. We finally get to be on Eebs. And I think that will be the we have arrived moment.
Link down below so you don't miss it.
After that, we're going to have to do one of our Support Small BookTube videos. Yeah. We'll shout out other channels.
That's right. We'll get our big cups and sit by a cozy little nook and talk about small booktubers.
Yeah, speaking of comments, I'd like to hear, did this video, if you haven't already read it, did this video convince you guys to at least think about reading this book? And if not, what would have? Because the more I read Lovecraft, Robert E. Howard, I think obviously Jason Pargin was influenced by the same stupid stuff we were when we were growing up, like Mad Magazine, Crack.
Yeah, because he's about our age, maybe a little bit younger.
He's like maybe 2 years younger than us. And he grew up his small town in Illinois. So he modeled, this undisclosed town after where he grew up. So he grew up with a lot of the same, small town Indiana, small town Illinois, same thing, right? Bored. Nobody likes to discuss deep things. So you're looking for any outlet, right? So I'm sure he read a lot of Lovecraft, Howard, same kind of humor we read, and it really comes through in this. This first book, you just have to kind of go, okay, yes, it was a serial, so maybe it doesn't quite hold together. So then the future books, like this book is full of spiders, seriously, don't touch it. I'm just saying his future books maybe hold together as like a coherent novel kind of thing. But
that's the way Hitchhiker's Guide was. Hitchhiker's Guide was kind of a and then book. And then when the second one came out, there was more of a plot to it. And then by the time you get to So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, my personal favorite, it's an absolute plot. It's a love story for Arthur Dent, who Douglas Adams craps all over through the entire first 3 books.
Arthur finally gets to have his.
All right. Having said all that, I'm Paul.
I'm Steve.
And the next time you're looking for something to read,
check your shelf. And if you're reading this book, you're in the wrong universe, those kinds of things.
Well, I'm dying here. Damn, spit trying to kill me.